There we go. Okay, right on. All right, I think we're all set up here. So to Twitch, YouTube, and X live. All right, so yeah, I'm going to be building a budgeting app. But before I do that, I just need to fix something. So I use a couple tools on my Mac. And one is called Aerospace, and that allows me to have different keyboard shortcuts for getting around. So like I can go Alt B and go to the browser. I can go Alt T, go back to terminal, and so on. And then I can also move stuff around. So I can go, one sec here. So I can move this to, let's go screen 2, move that to screen 2 too. And if I go to screen 2, now I have this, I can do split screen. I can use Alt H, Alt L to change focus. And you can also like change the orientation of things. So it's pretty useful. And with that, I also use something called Sketchy Bar, which isn't working at the moment. And it's supposed to show me which, I think it's called workspace, so which workspace I'm on. I think I might just need to restart it. I just gotta find the command here. All right, let's see here. Sketchy Bar is the command. How do I restart or stop? Stop. Start. Brew services start Sketchy Bar. I'm just going to do that because I think that's our problem here. Brew services stops Sketchy Bar. So I do want it to run well, I did want it to run automatically when I boot up, but if that's causing problems, let's just maybe start it manually. All right, there we go. So now I got these numbers on the side here. So like if I go to Alt 1, it brings me here. I can go Alt 2, and I'm on this kind of like workspace now, and I can assign different windows, different workspaces. It's pretty handy. So let's go back here. Actually, let's do this. Let's assign terminal to workspace 1. So go Alt Shift 1 is my mapping there. So that just shot it over there. So if I go over to 1 now, we'll see that it's there. I have YouTube Music open. Let's throw that over to number 3. I'm going to close my AI chat. Got Home Assistant open here too. All right, I think we're good to go. So I'm starting fresh tonight on this app. It's not a new app per se, because I've actually been using it for like, I don't know, 5 years now. I made it for my wife and myself, and we use it a ton. But I want to actually do a new build, rebuild it from scratch using Rails 8. So I can use some of the new Rails 8 goodies, and then I'm also going to properly set up payment and subscriptions, which it does not have right now. All right, so let's go here. What the heck? So it doesn't like, that's stupid. All right, so we're not actually just go here yet. Let's go back to sketchy bar. How do I get rid of the output? I guess we're just going to have to start it with brew. It's probably a better way to do this, but let's just, I don't want to spend a lot of time here. So brew services start sketchy bar. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go Rails new. We're going to call it Kippos. Technically it's version 3, but this is my last rebuild. I'm not calling it anything. It's just going to be Kippos from this point forward. I had currently running on version 2, and like feature-wise, it's essentially exactly what I want it to be. But I want to, I want to rewrite things with using Hotwire and Turbo, and we'll use the Rails authentication generator rather than having to use Devise. I mean, Devise kind of got the job done, but man, I was not a fan of Devise. I just, it just felt I was always having to like shoehorn, and it just felt very awkward for most of the things I had used it on. Yeah. So let's go Rails new Kippos. We're going to, I think we're good here. I'm just going to check the version. We're on Rails 8.0.1, which is what we want. I'm going to go Rails new Kippos. We'll go, I want to use Postgres as my database, and I'm going to use Tailwind. One of these days, I'm going to go back to probably vanilla CSS, I think, maybe. I don't know. Do I do that here? Maybe it's a good time to do that. I haven't written vanilla CSS in a long time. I've just been using Tailwind. I mean, there's pros and cons to both for sure. If I'm going for speed, absolutely using Tailwind every time. If I'm doing a project for a client, absolutely using Tailwind. If it's something that I'm building, I want to, I don't know. Usually I'll use Tailwind. If I go CSS, just vanilla CSS, will I have future regret? Probably. Yeah, let's go Tailwind. All right, so we're gonna run this. Okay, then we'll hop into our project root and open Zellige J or whatever it's called. Start our Tailwind, start our Rails server, and open UVim. Here we go. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is, well, let's just do an initial commit. Okay. All right, so now we'll go and generate our authentication with Rails 8 authentication. So go to Rails generate authentication. This is going to set up a bunch of tables for us and models. Okay. Then I'll hop into our migration. We'll go to user migrate. I think I created user migrate, create users. Okay, so creates a table for us with our email address, password digest. I'm going to add in, let's go right here, go t.string first name, t.string last name. I shouldn't need anything else other than that. And then let's run the migration to Rails db migrate. All right. Next, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to think this through a little bit. So in the current version of Typos, we have payments. Payments can belong to a category or not. They don't have to. They can be uncategorized. And they also can have a type. So we have a payment type of in or out. I want to keep that the same. I want to have a payment name. Actually, you know what? Let's open up our code base for Typos 2. Let's go to the schema. So here we go. Oh no, so it's actually not a payment, it's an item. So like, for example, let's say you have like your mortgage or whatever, rent, cell phone bill, payment or payment type, or so basically it's an item that you have to pay. It can also be in or out, so it can be a paycheck. And basically, the premise of Kipos is it allows you to forecast your future balances. Like we use it, me and my wife just use it a ton. It's been the hands down the best budget. We've tried a whole bunch of different budgeting apps, and this has done it for us better than anything else. So basically, I want to keep everything the same with just possibly some things that I'm trying to think if there's any code decisions that I regretted. Can't think of anything. Let's just start here. So we'll go back and I'm gonna go Rails generate model, or call it an item. So an item is something you pay or are paid. And I'm just trying to go grab, make sure I don't forget everything here. So I want to do name, type, due date, and payment date. Need to belongs to a user. Item type. So that's being in or out. Maybe I'll just call it direction. We'll go date, due date, and then our payment date. That's so that if, you know, it's like some of these payments you make through your bank, you generally, it takes like 3 to 5 business days for your bank to process it. Amount. Go icon string. I'm going to omit some of these because I ended up not using the budgeted feature. Icon status we want. So we need to know if it's paid or not. All right, so this could belong to a series. Now, do I need to create our series model migration first? I might need to do that. does it belong to? User. So we'll create our series model. Otherwise, if we run the migration, it'll try to create that association, but series won't exist yet, so that won't work. So let's go Rails. Well, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to destroy that. Destroy model. User. Nope. Item. Rails. Yeah, I know. Rails generates model series. We'll go find that series migration. Belongs to user. Should have a name. Let's go find this here. So a name type. So string name. We'll go set it a series type. We'll go direction. We'll call frequency. So a series essentially is a way to set up recurring items. Okay, before I do this, actually, I just want to think if I want to do this differently. I don't think so. So string frequency. And then we have our due date and pay days before. I don't think that is a date. Yeah, we have string. Now, when I wrote this, I remember, I think I kind of like hacked it out. And I don't know if the logic was all working, but there's probably better ways to go about it. Because the issues are, okay, so you have different types of frequencies. So you would have, you could have a weekly frequency, you could have a monthly frequency, you have bi-weekly, and it's also, was it semi-monthly when it's like, say the 1st and the 15th, but like the 1st and the 3rd, like the 30th or whatever, right? I think that's called semi-monthly. That one is a little different because I didn't actually set that up in Typos 2 because, I mean, an easy workaround for users is just to set up a monthly at the beginning of the month and then at the end of the month for wherever they have a second one. And it's a little bit more to it to do the semi-monthly. You can't just like go add 2 weeks. You can't just, yeah. So, also with the due date thing is like you can have it, like you'd have a monthly recurring on the 1st of the month. You'd have it on the 5th of the month. You could have it on the 31st, but what happens if there's no 31st? Well, then you need to drop it down to the last day of that month. So, you also have to, yeah, consider these things. So, what I did in the previous version was to set up a series. So our due date was like this. We had different values based on the last day of the month, or if it's just a number. I didn't love how I set that up. Oh, I did write in semi-monthly, but I never actually implemented it. Or did I? Or semi-monthly, is it once every 2 months? I'm not sure that's what semi-monthly means. But anyhow, yeah, I'm pretty sure semi-monthly is like occurs twice a month. Let's look it up. What does semi-monthly mean? Yeah, twice in 1 month, not once every 2 months. So semi-monthly here is completely incorrect. Probably why I never used it. I think I'll keep this the same. It worked pretty well. I'm not really thinking of any better ways to do this. Okay, so we'll do due date as a string. And pay days before. Integer pay days before. So again, that situation, if your due date's on the 15th, but you need to pay it on the 11th or whatever. I'm not going to use payment type. First occurrence will be a date. I had a column here for amount varies. I'm pretty sure you didn't use that at all either. Just ends up like making too much work for a user to manage that. Like what you can do is if your payment does vary, you can just go edit an individual item. That's what I do when I use it. So let's go t.float amount string or icon. We don't have categories set up yet, so you know what? It actually should probably have a optional launch too. So I should have done categories first. Well, let's just go generate Rails, generate categories, generate model category. name, amount, and we need a belongs to. And a type. And I'm going to need to order this one first before series. So let's just change this file name to go 605. So that when we run the migration, the category is already set up. Because I'm going to do this with t belongs to category and null is true. Okay, so user, we have category, name, direction, frequency, due day. We can create our item, rows, generate model item. Okay, there we go. Now we'll set up our first controller. Go control, generate controller, items. routes. Okay. I'm just going to set this up, and then we'll worry about ordering and all that later or in a moment. Find params ID. All right, I need to set up a dev user here. Let's go C. Let's use Quantum Fire. Oh, how do I do this again? Okay, what is it? I think. Dang it. Rails 8 password digest. digest. Shoot. There it is. That's what I need. Did I not include a first name? User migrate. Ah, dang it, I didn't. Okay. Now, I should probably just do a new migration, but since we're early here, I'm just going to do this. Or did I just opt not to do that? I mean, you don't really need first name. Let's just go name. So string name. Don't need first name, last name for this app at all. All right. Now, let's create that user. Don't need a last name. Okay, there we go. Now, I can go log in here. quantumfire@email.com. Let's go password 123. Cannot load such file, bcrypt. Gem files. I thought, okay, so what's the dealio here? Do you need to bundle install it? Restart our server probably. All right, what did I do wrong here? User goes user.last. Oh, didn't save. No, I didn't save it. Okay, user.save. There we go. quantumfire@email.com. Password 123. Okay, there we go. Now we don't have our association set up yet, so let's go over to user, go has many items, has many series, has many categories. And we're logged out again. Password 123. Okay. Unpermitted parameters, authenticity token, commit, context, action, create. Okay, so let's create a session, start a new session. It's redirecting 302. Item controller. I mean, we don't have a. Could be because it's a turbo request, and I'm just not getting the usual errors that I would get when there's no actual template created yet. So let's go create the template and see if that clears things up here. Views, no. Views, go items, go index.html, HTML.erb, also do show.html.erb, new.html.erb, edit.html.erb. Create those. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we didn't have a template made yet for this view. So it was returning on 302. And since it was a turbo request, it just was doing nothing. All right, let's go index and confirm that we are there. There we go. So now let's go back and look at our item controller. There would be no items here yet, so let's set up our new. I always forget the syntax for a select form. Select form helper. So, choices, options. Missing a closing brackets or issue. Okay. Got some like invisible fields right now. Is our CSS or our Tailwind? Yeah, it is working. Not sure why there's no borders with this here. Usually there are borders automatically. Okay. All right, what else do we need? We got, so I'm just trying to get this set up so I can actually create some items. I do want some, I'm not gonna just use select fields for these. And what I'm going to do is I'll have buttons here you can swap between, that'll be for in and out, for direction, and then also probably an easier way to set up, well, if it's a series, it should, yeah, I'll probably do a series as well. So I'll have buttons available for a series. So like, for example, if you like not a series, then no additional options. But if it is a series, you want to have an option to select your frequency. So like your monthly or bi-weekly and so on. So we'll set these up with these just basic form fields for the moment. I'll stick an icon up here. So for the icon, I'm going to have like a list of emojis that can be chosen. So like, let's say it's like a mortgage payment, you can select a house emoji. Status we don't need. Series ID, we'll have to generate a list of, no, series ID will be created if it is a series, and then the category ID, we'll have to have a selector for the different categories available. So let's get just our basic up and running first. I want to change some color in here just so I can see these for the moment. Let's go main, let's go body class, BG gray 100. There we go. See something. Let's get rid of this. Actually, let's go like this. Div. And go new item. Then H1. Not a high in H1. Class, go font. I think I want it pretty bold. So we'll go font, black. And then let's go text like 5XL or something like that. Okay. I don't like how we're doing this. So it's just like the defaults that were populated by Rails when I created the app, because I chose Tailwind for CSS. So it adds some defaults in. I don't want these defaults. I'll leave that for now. PX5, sure, for now. And then let's go to that. I'm going to set up a layout type for the page headings. Let's just finish this first though. So item new, whoops. Let's go 8. Let's make this flex call gap go like 8. Save it. Go inside the form. Better. Don't need that. Go back to our schema. All right, so we need direction. We got direction. We need a due date. Should make this a date field. All right, so are there any other required? No. So let's test it out. I need a button here. So we'll say cell phone direction be out. The amount, let's just say like $80, and then pick a date here. Create our item. Let's just check our controller first. Item controller. So let's, for the moment, redirect to our item. If it doesn't save, right, and we're on the item. So if we go over to our item show, we should have item with a name, cell phone. There we go. So we can now create items, and let's go to our root path and go index. Oh, let's go items dot each do item. Let's just go render. Oh, I can't do that yet. There we go. All right, I'm just going to commit some changes here. I think I'm going to call it a night from here. I've been off for like the last 2 weeks. So I kind of want to just take it easy tonight before I head back to work tomorrow. So, I mean, we did a bunch of things. I wish I would have committed a little bit more here. We'll just go items. Items, initial controller actions. All right. Cool. All right, well, that's it for tonight. Probably gonna be trying to hop on pretty regularly now. I want to roll on this app, get it done pretty fast. I'd like to try and get this thing fully built within like, I don't know, 3 weeks would be nice. But we'll see how that goes, because I'm only going to do this in the evenings, weekends too. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.